Okay, so you're welcome to Seller's very first Instagram live session here on Instagram. I mean, we've always had our passion to profit on our blog, but we just thought, why not? What's a business without innovation? We decided to innovate, bring it here on Instagram where we'd have our prospective fans, our clients, our followers, and our friends, where you can also get to interact with our guests. So today we are going to be talking about demystifying all of the myths surrounding the coaching industry here in Nigeria, and I'm glad that you all are here for it. I don't know if you've been following us on Instagram for a while now, you know who our guest is. Our guest is one big fish, and I'm so happy to have him here on our very first Instagram live session. Like I said, come with your pen, your paper, and an open mind. And if you have questions, remember that you can ask your questions too. So if you are a coach or an intending coach or a digital creator, or you have any digital product or service that you want to sell, hurry up to our DMs, send us a DM now or send us an email. The very first 5 people who would send us a DM would get something very special from Seller. Trust me, hurry to our DMs now and send that email. So without further much ado, I am going to be adding our guests. Oh, I see you. I am Sharon Alfred. Thank you. Without further much ado, I am going to be adding our guests so that we can get this over and done with. If you don't know who our guest is, just stick around and you're going to find out shortly. So while we wait for our guests to join us, my name is Obianuju Lillian Ikebune, and I am going to be hosting this Instagram live session. Yay, our guest is back up. Hi, Mr. Steve Harris. Good evening from Nigeria, particularly Nigeria.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, fine, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, so for the benefit of people who do not know who Steve Harris is, I doubt there's nobody that doesn't know Steve Harris. I mean, Steve Harris is a very popular household name. But in case you do not know who Steve Harris is, I'm going to do a brief introduction. Mr. Steve Harris is one of Nigeria's leading business strategists, high performance and life coach. He helps high performance individuals and institutions bridge the gap between their performance and potential. Mr. Harris has been featured on Forbes Africa and was once listed among the world's top 100 business coaches to follow on Twitter. Popularly called Mr. Ruthless Execution. I'm still trying to wonder why. He has authored different books. If you don't quit on your journey to success, someday, even your failures will inspire others to succeed. That is one of my favorite quotes from Steve Harris. Now, let's cut to the chase. Why the name Ruthless Execution? And it feels like you want to kill someone.
Alrighty. Well, first off, my name is Steve Harris. Thank you for having me. A lot of people call me Mr. Ruthless Execution because when I started coaching entrepreneurs, a lot of the things that people started saying was because of my methodology. I can hear myself in the background. I don't know why. It seems like you're in speaker. But anyway, because of my methodology, because of the way I tend to work, I'm very big on execution. I'm very big on results. You know, people say that, don't tell Steve your plans because he's going to make you do them. Don't tell Steve your ideas because he's going to force you kicking and screaming until it gets done. And there is no excuse big enough, fantastic enough, or wonderful enough that lets me let you get off the hook. You know what I mean? I like to think of myself as the special one when it comes to coaches. Well, technically, I don't like not just the special one. I like to think of myself as just the one. Every other person is number 2, 3, and 4. But that's just my me being mischievous. But the truth about it really is just I'm really passionate about helping people succeed. I don't take no for an answer. I am committed to making my clients succeed no matter what I do to them. A lot of them don't like tough love, but it's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. As long as they get the results, I'm happy. So I'm really ruthless. Excuses, are not good enough. I remember that I had somebody who I was working with, and she was going for a funeral. She lost a member of her family, an extended member of her family, and she was, going for the funeral by, vehicle or something. And I'd giving them a task, in my program to do, and she hadn't done hers. And if you don't do my work, or if you don't do the things I ask you to do, I tend to fine my clients. And she knew she was going to get fined. She was like, "Well, coach, I'm going for this funeral, something or the." And I was like, "Look, the person, whoever you're going, the funeral, the person is dead, and we can't change that. You're living. I don't care what's going to happen. If you don't
That's
get it done, I'm
ruthless.
going to kill you
That's
myself."
ruthless.
Yeah. And so
That's
she had a
ruthless.
deadline. Yeah, she had a deadline, no pun intended, even though she was going to a funeral, but she had to get it done. So I'm really passionate about helping people get results with no excuses whatsoever.
Interesting. Now I understand where the ruthless execution is coming from. Okay, so I don't know. This would be sounding like a broken record to you, but for the benefit of people who are just here for the very first time, people who your story is going to inspire, people who would still listen to this video sometime later, and this video would make them, retrace their steps. I'd like to go back to your Forbes interview and your real story. I mean, you are the firstborn of your family. There was a point in time when your younger sister was giving you stipend. You dropped out of university twice and you attempted to
Yes.
suicide. That's huge. I knew that there was a point in time in your life where there was a turnaround. But at what point in time did you know you were going to be a coach?
Okay, well, first off, I just noticed that my dad is here. Hey, Dad, what's up? What's up, Pops? And I noticed that my brother, my dearly beloved John Obidi, a beloved son in whom I'm most pleased. Shout out to John Obidi, shout out to Mahin, and all my MBT people who I can see in the comments. So love you. Thank you for showing up. How did I know I was going to be a coach? I think, well, first off, my very first epiphany concerning personal and business development came when I was in the university. So I had gained admission to study industrial math. I wasn't really passionate about math, and
Oh,
so in my spare time, I was always reading a lot of personal development books. I started reading a lot of business books. So maybe at the age of 22, I was reading books like Michael Porter's Competitive Advantage. I was reading books like Tom Peters. I can't remember the name of his book back then, but I was reading those kind of management consultants, and it was forming my thinking. I was reading a lot of books by Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, and all of that was just expanding my mind even beyond the course that I was doing. So, I remember writing, and I didn't know what a vision board was, so I just had this like notebook, and I wrote certain things that I wanted. I wrote down the kind of career I wanted, and I knew it was a career that had to do with impacting people. Um, I knew it was a career that had to do with inspiring people. And, to me, that sounded like being a pastor. And I was like, there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to do that. So that has, passed. But I always knew that I wanted to, help people. And my coaching journey began, you know, after, so to speak, my successful stints as a motivational speaker, as the case may be. I always wondered why people weren't getting results. So yes, motivation works. So when people say aspire to perspire, I always say that they don't know what the hell they're talking about, because motivation is incredibly important. Motivation is absolutely incredible, absolutely critical and important. Your pastor is a motivational speaker. You know what I mean? Your imam is a motivational speaker. The only difference is that they tend to use different books. You know what I mean? So a lot of preaching is a lot inspirational, motivational. So if you say aspire to perspire, I'll say go tell that to your pastor, because he does exactly the same job that I do. You know, but you go to church every Sunday, as the case may be. And so for me, I used to wonder why people were not sustained in getting results. And I then realized that the next level on personal developments in terms of motivation was now coaching. And I knew that for me, coaching was important because it could now help me hold people accountable and drive them to perform and just bring out the best in them. So I think my coaching journey began in 2010, October to be precise.
Wow, interesting story. Interesting one out there. So, with the current quest for knowledge and the ever increasing coaching, and a lot of people claiming, oh, I'm a coach, I can teach you how to do this, I can teach you how to do that. I would like to ask, who exactly is a coach and what are the various types of coaching there are?
So first off, I'm gonna say this, and I know that there are many coaches out there. I know there are people who are um, passionate about making a difference in people's lives and their businesses. But I will give a caveat here. And
Okay.
my caveat is this: no matter how many episodes or seasons of Grey's Anatomy I watch, I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean?
Ah,
I can watch all
wow.
the seasons of
Wow.
Suits, the entire 7 seasons of
Mm,
Suits, and I will never be Harvey Specter. You know what I mean? I'm not a lawyer or Boston Legal. So my point is, passion is not enough because I think that coaching
mm,
is like mental surgery. You know, the way, you know, you can be passionate about medicine, but it doesn't mean you're qualified to hold a scalpel. Because
true.
with medicine, for example, if you hold a scalpel, you perform a surgery, and you kill someone or hurt someone, um, you can be sued. You know what I mean? You can be liable
True.
for malpractice and da 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 da. At least the good thing about medicine is, you know, if let's say, for example, the doctor's performing a procedure and he forgets his scalpel inside your stomach, you may not die because it'll be found with an X-ray that, oh, the doctor left his scalpel or he left one of his tools there. But coaching is mental surgery because when you screw up somebody's mental faculty, when you place the red wire on the green wire and it's meant to be on the blue wire, you are going to start that person down a journey, down a path of self-destruction and um, you know, sabotage. And the person will never know that it was the interaction they had with you, right, that screwed them down a path. So
True.
um, you can give a doctor a knife and you can give me a knife. Who are you going to trust to perform a surgery? You will trust the person who is qualified. We can both hold
True.
knives. Two of us can cut you open. Only one of us can stitch you back together again. You know what I mean? So when it comes to coaching, a lot of practitioners, I'll use the word practitioners, a lot of practitioners can cut you open, but only coaches can put you back together again. Now,
Mm,
um, going into a little bit further, one of the things that I would say is when you're hiring a coach, look for trusted authorities. All right. When you're
okay.
hiring a coach, make sure you look for trusted authorities. And there are many people that I can recommend. I can recommend right off the bat, guys like John Obidi, phenomenal. Trisha Biz, phenomenal. Jimmy Tayway, Bankole Williams, phenomenal. Stephanie Obi, phenomenal. These are
Mm,
people that I know, that I've
yeah.
worked with, that I trust. These guys are phenomenal. You can't go wrong with them. And there's some other people, of course, that I can mention, but these are some that just right off the bat. But when you're hiring a coach, look for trusted authorities. But most importantly, you're hiring a coach to help you win. Let me say that again. You're hiring a
Mm,
coach to help you win.
help
So
you
let's
win.
use football as the metaphor. Many times, the best coaches or coaches may not necessarily have been football players, right? But they
Yeah.
understand tactics, they understand strategies, they understand the things that you're supposed to do. Now, when, for example, Manchester United is, or you know, a premier club is looking for a top coach, they don't look for coaches that are just practicing. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to look at this guy's just been trying, but he just got his certification. Let's just try the guy. No, they look for coaches who are winners. They look for coaches who can help
Track
them win,
records.
coaches who have track records, who won stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what you're looking for. If you want to be a winner, then be coached by a coach who is a winner or has a
Mm,
track record of
mm.
helping other people win. So that's what it is. Unfortunately, most people say they can't afford winners like us, so they go to the basements, but it's okay.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so you talked about the perspire to acquire. So we've heard a lot of all of those perspire to acquire, and people are saying, "Oh, why would I listen to you? Where's the car in your garage?" You know, did you
Yeah.
ever imagine that people will pay to listen to you? Did you ever imagine that?
Um, to be honest, yeah, I actually did. But my motives were different, so I never really thought of it from the perspective of, having the fancy cars. Full disclosure, I don't have a private jet yet. I don't have
Yes, I like
Lamborghinis
the
and
word yet.
Ferraris yet.
Yet.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
But when I started my career as a thought leader, hey, oh, I forgot, my brother Victor Echo Bassi, is another coach that is guaranteed. So yes, he's absolutely phenomenal as well. But when I started my coaching practice and as a motivational speaker, as the case may be, um, I didn't have any success. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Back then, at the time, the more dominant voices, and they still are, the more dominant voices were Fela Durotoye, Nia Desonya, Kunle Shore. These are some of our elders, the A team, the alphas, the originals. I like to call them the originals in our industry, and they were talking about their amazing successes. I didn't have any success. So I was talking about my failure. So I was telling people, look, listen, look, I'm not FD, I'm not these guys. I don't have the cars, I don't have the Range Rover, I don't have the house. But this is where I'm coming from. I dropped out of school twice. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but this is where I'm coming from. And I'm hoping that my story can resonate with you. So I was just telling people about my failures. So, I didn't even know that that was even competitive leverage. Hey, DL. Hey, my Simply Lil. Hey, Victor. I got you covered. So,
Yeah.
yes. So I was talking about my failures, and I realized that talking about my failures resonated with so many people. It was an authentic message. So I wasn't talking aspire to perspire. I wasn't trying to rhyme. I was just saying, this is my life. I dropped out of school twice. My life hasn't been all that. I'm not exactly where these guys are. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my path. And I found that people resonated with that, and it raised the demand for me, as the case may be.
Wow. Interesting. So, like, sorry to just ask or chip this in. Did you ever still get to go to school or complete school?
No, I am proudly a college dropout, two-time. I don't have. So I'm a
Oh,
really educated man, but I don't have the documents to prove it.
okay. I don't know if you're going to feel comfortable talking about this, but what was your first pay, like your first paycheck? How much was it?
My very first paycheck, for speaking, right? Yeah. So Simply Lil
Yeah.
says the teachers they don't like me. I was the kind of student that was taking the teacher's girl, so I got into trouble for that. My first paycheck as a speaker was 250K, and that was
Wow.
Jesus Christ. That was
Impressive.
that was in 2000 and
That was before this current administration.
that was in
So you bought
2010.
something. You could actually buy you a plot of land.
I know, right? That was
That's
2010.
impressive. So while you were starting out, have you ever been booed or have you ever suffered any form of rejection, and how did you handle it?
Oh, of course. I mean, I get rejected every day. I get rejected every single
What?
goddamn day. I mean, in 2000 and oh yeah, in 2000 and what year are we? We're in 2021. In 2016, I was having a meeting with my team, my company, and we were talking about we're doing an end of the year review, and we found out that um, our company had reached out to 1,563 organizations. We had reached out to 1,563 organizations to do business with. And at the end of the year, at that time, at the end of the year, we had only done business with probably maybe 80 or 85.
Mm,
So you can only imagine getting turned down by, I mean, 85 from 1,500 people does
2000 and
not, I mean, the numbers don't
wow.
even add up. But you have to take that rejection as feedback, So for us,
Mm,
strategy is always okay. So every time a customer says no, usually they mean not now. So how do we make it urgent and important to them? But I get rejected all the time, but I'm very good at that. And like I tell people, you've got to be willing to fail more times than others are willing to try. Let me say that again. You got to be willing to fail more times than others are willing to try. So if I'm willing to fail more than you are willing to try, I'm going to beat you all the time because I have a high threshold for failure. So you're afraid of trying. I'm not afraid of failing, and I'm going to beat you all the time. So be willing to fail more than other people are willing to try.
Wow. That's the spirit out there, because someone actually needs to hear this. I really do not know how it keeps me back from trying, but with this, I think I would push more and apply more pressure. So, what was your first, worst, and best experience in coaching?
Um, I think my best experience happens all the time. It's each time I get a new client,
I
each
like that
time
you're
somebody
talking about the
trusts
best
me.
experience first.
Well, each time a client trusts me with their business, each time somebody takes a leap of faith to say, you know, Steve, I'm putting my business or I'm putting my life into your hands, and I hope you, you know, please be gentle with me, as the case may be. So each time it's always it's a heartwarming, and it gives me a great sense of responsibility. You know, each time I have a client, I'm always praying like, Lord, please, you know, please just come through for this
Hmm.
person. You know, I know I'm all brash, and you know, a lot of people say I'm cocky and stuff, but the truth is, my reliance truly is on God. You know, to just give me the wisdom to direct them right. So that's important. Worst experiences in coaching. Um, Worst experience in coaching. I wouldn't really say it's a bad experience per se. I remember that I did an article on my Instagram maybe like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I was promoting one of my courses, and I did an article called "Be Like Bob Risky." Um,
Whoa.
and I had met Bob Risky in the mall. Um, I was going shopping, and he was going shopping or whatever. We shopped. You know, I was like, okay, this is a dude dressed like a girl. So it was a whole cross-dressing thing. And I did a little bit of research at the time. This is like 5 years ago. And I did an article, and I just said, please be like Bob Risky. That listen, this dude owns his brand. He's owning his marketing. He's not apologizing for it. He's not apologizing for polarizing you if you feel offended. And you, as an entrepreneur, you have to own your brand. Don't apologize. And I put it out there, and I did a lot of caveats and disclaimers. I said, listen, I'm not endorsing his lifestyle. I'm not his pastor. I'm not speaking for his faith. I'm looking from the perspective of a businessman to say, as an entrepreneur, these are the things that this is what this guy is doing right, and I think you should do the same. I don't think people read beyond the first line that was "Be like Bob Risky," and people just came after me, you know. And thank God it wasn't Twitter, because you know it was on Instagram. But people came after me on Instagram, and they're like, "No, how can you say that? I thought you were a Christian. I thought you were a man of God. In fact, you're Bob Risky's babe. Maybe you're his lover. Maybe you're his, you know, all sorts of things." And people started cussing me out. I had so many insults; it was
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
Um, but on the good side of it, you know what we say in marketing. All news is good news. You know, all traffic is good
All
traffic.
publicity is
So
good publicity. Yeah.
I trended, literally trended. You know, blogs carried my gist. Oh, see what Steve Harris says about Bob Risky. Even Bob Risky sent me a message to
Wow.
even say, dude, these people don't know what they're doing. Though. Let me shall be cashing my checks. So it wasn't really a bad experience. But I got paid for it, which is even cool, because I think
Good.
because I was promoting the
Good.
course. And the moment I posted
Hmm.
that, there were some people who came to my DM and said, "Listen, if you could come up with this kind of attention, you should definitely be my coach." So so I was feeling bad that people were abusing me, but I was using the money to dry my tears.
To cash out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so speaking about Instagram, when did you decide it was time for you to go digital? When did you decide it was now time for you to take your coaching business digital, like digitize most of your coaching products? At what time did you decide it was time? And what platforms helped you do that?
Well, for me, to be honest, I mean, this might sound arrogant, but I think I've been digital for the longest. You know, I mean, I've been podcasting, for example. I've been podcasting since as far back as 2009, right? I've been doing webinars since 2010. You know what I mean? And this is before the tech came to Nigeria or people were a lot aware. I just knew that one day, because I said to myself, you know, if I want to be a global brand, I need to find a way for the world to come and meet me, you know? So I need a vehicle that can accommodate the world to meet me. Um, and so podcasting was the first thing I started. Then I started webinars in 2010, um, email listing, the whole nine yards. B exactly. Hey, B plus BBM,
Wow.
you know,
Big
all
up
that stuff.
BBM.
Podcasting. Yeah.
Mm.
So since far back as 2009, so I've used a bunch of platforms. Some of them I'm still using. I've used podcasts, Webinar Jam. I've used Kajabi. I use Sella. You know, these are some of the tools that I use.
Hey. Oh, okay, okay. Amazing. Okay, so what advice do you have for aspiring coaches or upcoming coaches? Like, what advice do you have for them?
Um, be yourself, man. Everyone else is taken. You know, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Find what makes you work. You know, sometimes, you know, if you try to copy me, you're going to make a mistake. Because this,
Mm.
I am who I am. You know, I am that I am, as the case may. I'm not saying I'm God, but in this business, me say if I'm God.
You are who you are.
You know,
Yes, so I
but
like that.
it is what it is. But you know, my point really is, find who you are, own who you are. Don't apologize for who you are. You know what I mean? Because I find that a lot of us don't like controversy. So, you know, you do something and people are like, ah, no, we shouldn't have done that. Then we all begin to quake and shake, and then we do disclaimers. I'm like, look, if you don't like me, that's your problem. You know, listen, I'm not for everyone. If you want, you know, there are different liquids. If you want water, go and drink it. Me, I'm like vodka. You take a sip, or tequila. You take a sip, it will burn you in your chest. You'll be like, it's hot. But you say to yourself, I still want more. I didn't ask you to carry the bottle. You're the one that carried it with your hand. You don't like it, unfollow. So be yourself, own yourself. Don't apologize for yourself. But most importantly, serve. You know what I mean? Serve your clients. Serve them. If you get results for them, trust me. You know, many of them won't tell other people about you. But there will be some who will swear by you, you know. So just outperform, you know, just give the very best of yourself. Help people get results, you know what I'm saying? But when you get help people get results, soon, you know, they'll tell people about you. So that's what it is.
Like, I've read your story over and over again, and sometimes I'm just always wondering, is it the God factor or is it just the mindset thing? I don't know. I don't know if you're just going to help me clear that doubt. Is it the God factor or is it just your mind? Because I see you talk with so much confidence, and I'm like, you know what? After this session, the way I'm going to sell myself and brag, like, really. So, is it the God factor or is just your mindset? Like, what happened? What changed?
Well, I mean, first off, no clear disclaimer. I mean, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, so that's for sure. But I also recognize, like the Bible says, that each of us have been given a measure of grace. So the same grace of God I
Mm,
have is the same grace of God that you have. But then again, after the grace of God, which is like number one, two, three, four, five, then number six will now be your mindset. How you know, how, you know, if you have a scarcity mentality when it comes to business, you will always suffer. You know what I mean? If you
mm,
have an abundance
mm,
mentality, you know, I tell
mm.
people that the sky is big enough, right, Lillian, for every bird to fly. You know, the oceans are deep enough for every creature to swim. The earth is large enough for all of us to thrive. So first off, your mind must expand. You know, you've got to go beyond where you are. You know, God operates with global thinking. You know, so if you're satisfied with being a local champion, then that's all you're going to get. Because even when God wanted to bless
Hmm.
Abraham, he had to ask him, he said, listen, you know what? I have great plans for you, but I need to show you. He says, your children are going to be totally amazing. And Abraham's like, Lord, but how on earth am I going to have them? He's like, well, you know what? Come on, let me show you. Can you see the stars out there? Can you count them? So I can't count them. That's how your family, your descendants are going to be. Can you count the sand? No, I can't. That's how your descendants are going to be. So we all need references. So the problem is many of us don't have references. Another thing, again, perhaps, is a lot of us are not skilled. So we are passionate, we're motivated, but we are not highly skilled. I can go
Hmm.
toe to toe. I mean, you put me on the stage with Tony Robbins, I will hold my own and I will bring the house down too. You know what I mean? But we're not highly skilled. So, you know, let me put it this way. No matter, so let me put it this way. Thank you. I got the perfect metaphor. So let me put it this way, right? You can have a generator, right? So you can have a generator that is passionate. So a generator like an I better pass your neighbor generator. Um, no matter how passionate or motivated or inspired that gen is, it can never power maybe a 5 bedroom duplex. It can't power it. It's passionate, it will start, it will rev. But the moment you start putting load on it, the gen is going to start shaking
It drops.
and ultimately
Yeah.
it'll just blow up, it'll explode. Why will it explode? Very simple, because its capacitor has burned. What does that mean? It does not have the capacity to carry the load
Output.
that is put upon it. The generator is inspired, the generator is motivated, the generator has fuel, it has engine oil, it has all the parts. It just does not have the right capacitor,
Capacity.
right? But there's a second type of generator. It's called a 50 kVA generator, the silent
Mm.
type, right? That generator operates with load. So, for example, that generator powering a house, for example, or a BQ is a waste of energy, right?
Mm.
So it comes easy. So the 50 kVA generator can power a house, or it can power a face me, I face you easily. That's not stress. The real stress, the real value of that generator is when you turn on the load and you put the load upon it. Now it has great capacity. So I think that sometimes there are two types of people. There are people like are the I better pass my neighbor generator. They have passion, but they don't have capacity. And then there are the people who are the 50 kVA generator. They have capacity, but they're too lazy to carry the load. You know what I mean? So they don't want to challenge themselves.
Mm.
And so, they're
Mm.
stuck there. And then there's a third kind of generator, which is guys like me.
I like that. Like I like this vibe. I like the energy. Okay, so does anyone have any questions for Mr. Steve Harris? Just drop it in the chat box so that I would ask him. But Mr. Steve Harris, correct me if I'm wrong. Like the coaching industry is one that is closely knit. Like you guys hype each other, you guys support each other. Like nobody is like affected by the other person's success. Like why is that so? Like you came in here, you talked about Stephanie Obi, you talked about John Obidi. Like nobody's shine is stopping the other person's shine. Like that's the kind of vibe I like. So like how do you guys do it in the coaching industry? Like do you guys have like a click kind of thing or it's just how it is?
Well, remember the first thing I said, we have an abundance mentality. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? The sky is big enough for everyone to fly. I mean, I can rep John. John is amazing. John Obidi is phenomenal. Stephanie, Trisha, all these people are phenomenal. And listen, Nigeria. Listen, there are 200 million people in Nigeria. We cannot serve them all. You know what I'm saying? We can't serve them
Abi?
all. So we're gonna need all the help we can get. We're gonna need all the help we can get. Um, but I do think that for some of us, we are deliberate about just promoting other people's work. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who normally, if I see something, so for example, if I'm following you, Uju, and I see something on your page that is nice, I may never like it, but I can share it. I'll put it on my stories. I'm that kind of guy. I'll put it on my stories just so, oh, this was really cool. I think people should see it. I just do that. That's just the way I'm wired. But also with my brothers, like Jimmy Tewe, Bankole Williams, we are incredibly close. So for us, we're like, listen, man, you know what? We're gonna be the biggest, baddest boys on the block. So let's help as many people
Serious
as possible. And
now.
I'll promote. Jimmy has something, I'll be there. If Jimmy's having if Jimmy's on Instagram Live, I am going to be watching from beginning to end. If Banky, I'll be doing the same thing. If they have programs, I will attend. They will attend. It's the same kind of thing because we have an abundance mentality. So yeah, we're not
That's the
intimidated by anyone.
spirit. That's the spirit. Okay, so someone asked if the MBT is still on.
Yes, it is. It's closing. Registration is closing on Sunday, I believe. Yes, and the program starts. It opens July 1st, and the first session starts on the 4th of July. So
Okay, okay. Okay, so while there are no questions, just very positive feedback on the chat box, I think I have my own questions for you, and I give you 3 seconds, three seconds to answer the question. This is the three fun quick questions that you need to answer in 3 seconds. Okay,
Three
are you
seconds.
ready?
Okay. Here we
Three
go.
seconds.
Hit
Okay,
me.
so how many seconds are in a minute?
60.
I thought you were going to think that because the question was just too cheap. Okay, so if you weren't coaching, what else would you be doing to earn a living?
Broadcasting.
Exactly. I thought you were going to say voice coach. Okay, because you have
Yeah,
a
well,
voice.
that works. It's
Okay,
still in my purview.
okay. So what book talks about the 10,000 hour rule?
Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers.
Ooh. Oh
I'm
my
good. I'm
goodness.
really good.
You're good. I like that. Oh my goodness, you got all my questions. It's been an amazing 40 minutes of chatting with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Harris, for your time, making out time to come here for this Instagram live session. And besides, this is our very first Instagram live session on Seller, and you are our very
You know
own.
what they
Thank
say. You
you so
never forget
much.
your first time. You never forget your first time.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I think I should let you go. Or do you still have any other thing to say?
I can see somebody's question in the comments though.
Oh, okay. How do you transition from I bet? Oh no, that was in reference to the I better pass to the 50 kVA.
Well,
Avoid
I think the
anxiety,
answer to that
issues,
question would
depression.
really be increase your capacity. The difference between both generators is capacity. So you got to increase your capacity. Learn, study, grow, fail. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
a
Failure
shouter here
increases your
from the UK. Some says
capacity.
capacity. Okay. I'm a big fan, Steve, from UK. I remember my NYSC days. You came to Lagos camp. Oh, this is a shout
I
out
had
from
fun.
UK.
I had fun. I was going to NYC for a bit. It was pretty cool. It was cool because because I dropped out of school. I never did NYC, so it was pretty cool for me to live the whole experience by just going to the camp and just shout with them. So that was pretty cool.
Hmm, interesting. Okay, there are just lots of positive feedback here. I told you a lot of people know who Steve Harris is. A lot of people do know who Steve Harris is.
I'm not.
Thank
I
you
don't believe
so
that
much.
hype, but it's fine. Thank you for the compliment, though.
No, it's no hype really. It's no hype. Like after this interview session, I feel so like I just can't wait to go back to my Instagram, WhatsApp, and let people know, oh, this is what I do. This is how I can do it. Like I'm all pumped. What if I now pay for one of your sessions? It's just that I'm
Oh, girl,
scared.
you will
Okay,
never
because
be
my
the same
work.
again. You will never be the
Okay.
same. I'm the first coach you should have come to, and I'm the last you'll ever need. So I'm the first and the last. Every other person is in the middle.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Steve Harris. Thank you for gracing us. I can't thank you enough, but thank you again. To have an amazing evening.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.